And I'm back with more .hack GU in a level 41 area. Huh? Okay. Okay. Well, that worked. So today is just fighting stuff, leveling up. Nah. Not sure how many fights I'm gonna have in this area, but I'm gonna bet Kuna's somewhere around level 40-ish. I got lucky with the arcade thing. I thought she was a little higher than she was, but no. But speaking of arcade, this episode, this dungeon rant, is about how Haseo... also goes back to the Sakaki thing way back, with how he treats everyone as an enemy. And... It's one of those weird things where you would think that eventually, after everything he's been dealing with, he would at least treat some people with respect. Some people without just being a complete dickhead, dismissive. But no, he's still in this kind of mode where everything is just completely, everybody's against me, everybody's a piece of shit, I'm better than all of them, and I have nothing. It's like, you could see it on his face in the episode against Arcade. He said, "Oh, I could beat you without my avatar, no problem." Turns out he couldn't. He couldn't control his emotions. Regardless of whether you're leveled high enough or not, it is a storyline thing. He was going to do it regardless. So the story is telling you that he was up shit creek and his resolve was, hey, rather than take the L, my emotions got out of whack and I just did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do. So, now he has no recourse. He has brought this upon himself, and not only has he pissed off Kuna and Pai, he continues pissing off Alcade, who, let's face it, is not involved in this shit. She has nothing to do with Avatar. She is a regular player. She is a good regular player, by all accounts, and a strong one at that. But she is still just a regular player. So therein lies the whole just I will get what I want, consequences be damned situation. Because he can't help himself. Or because his mind, because subconsciously, it could be he deciding to use the avatar or subconsciously deciding. Either way, the fact that he's deciding to do it says he is not capable of trusting himself in most cases. Or that by and large it's, ow. I forgot they do that. So now he has the track record twice of having done his bullshit. Whoops. So you can't trust anything he says. You can't trust anything he does. And then, as if that's not bad enough, then you have the Atoli situation, where, unprovoked, he's just antagonizing her and her relationship with Sakaki over and over. It's like, haven't we been over this crap? So therein lies the other problem, is he just can't help himself. He just can't stop himself from shouting. And again, I've said that Atoli is not always the easiest person to deal with, but it's like, that time she didn't get on his nerves. That time, he brought that all on himself and just kept egging her on until she slapped him. So I have, like, no sympathy. Ow! Fuck. That hurt. So again, even if, say, he has some respect for Pi at this point, or at least can deal with her on a normal basis, that's fine. But it's also not enough. You have to treat everybody else that you meet with some respect, and he still has not done that. So, I mean, it gets into the whole sportsmanship angle, it gets into the idea that he's just completely devoid of concern for anybody else. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, good. I was about to say, the frames were starting to drop on that. It was getting a little too hectic. And again, am I saying that everybody always has perfect moments and that they're going to be 100% nice all the time? No. But as a general rule, Haseo is a bit of a dick, and almost a little too much so. And to be fair, being suspicious of Sakaki is one thing. I totally get that part. First strike. But being suspicious of one person and, like, to be fair, like, is it reasonable to assume that Atoli is there to spy on him? Well, maybe, but hasn't Atoli done enough to say, hey, I'm still also, like, trying to be friendly to you? And have done quite a bit. Still, it's just like, God. So it's like, is there a line? And does Atoli look like the type of person to be malicious in any way? I don't think she has a malicious bone in her body. I don't even know if she knows what being malicious means. She could be naive, sure. And maybe Haseo is guarding himself against Sakaki, you know, pulling a fast one on him through her, but it sure doesn't seem like anything he can't handle either. So it does just seem a little obnoxious. But again, that is what that is the story they're trying to tell. Because not every character in every video game has to be very nice or very astute. But I'm reminded of a character in Radiant Historia, because I recently rewatched footage of that, and I did a podcast on it a couple weeks ago. The main character there, Stock, was, I think, the best example of a main character I've seen in any of these types of games. Because under no circumstance did he feel completely naive, completely overwhelmed, completely ruthless, or completely anything. He was a very smart, very calculated person who's willing to take people at face value if his mission accounts for it. Because he doesn't just seem standoffish for the sake of being standoffish. Stock's whole thing was, I don't know all the information, but I can find ways to do it. But I can also use my party members I can view my party members as allies, as resources, and as friends. He can see every side of things, and he's actually talking through the player's view. He's not hiding anything from the player. You can see his mental processes, is thinking through every situation, going, okay, do I have to go here? Do I need to use this person? Do I have to do that thing that I saw a while ago? Do I have to do this thing that I'm not capable of? Who is the best person for this job? And also, it's like, am I able to think on my feet because I know that, who's doing what, where, when, how? Is this the right person I should be dealing with at the time? How do I deal with that person? Should I be friendly? Should I be angry? He's over-analyzing. Because his job is life or death. But he never comes across like he's incapable. But he's also not infallible. It's a very fine line that Radiant Historia pulls off. And they do it with a character who makes sense because he's given a power, but he's also given an understanding and a backing that makes, okay, this guy is a super spy or a soldier. He's done every little thing you can think of for this one country. So it stands to reason he has this knowledge base. Or a quick wit to think, okay, I saw this thing. Let me see if I can do it. And, oh, shit. So he's able to process and do things without it coming across as outlandish. But he's able to work with his party members and it not either be super sweet or super crotchety. Because there's a line between, okay, being the super nice guy can also be very annoying. Sora. Sora from Kingdom Hearts is way too fucking nice for his own good. And there are times, like I've seen with Elsa in the beginning of the Frozen arc, where it's like, dude, she wants to be left alone. Could you leave her alone to do her Frozen thing, to do her Let It Go scene, and then help? Or maybe offer to, I think...
So the day that I lose a race has come.
One sec.
Guess this is all part of life. Let me get it.
Ooh. So it's a process of offering help. You can offer help once or twice, but if a person says no, okay, leave it there. Sora's thing is he will try his damnedest to see the happiness and the luckiness and the good in everybody and try to be everybody's friend and do everything nice. And then he'll be super committed. And again, I don't think he's like the worst at it, but he's the embodiment of trying to see everything in the good of people and being helpful. But there are times where even that gets annoying. But then on the opposite side of the spectrum, you have somebody like Haseo who sees everybody as an enemy, who cannot, will not, refuses to just leave well enough alone if he sees anything approaching. Okay, well, you're dealing with Sakaki all the time. Aren't you going to screw me over someday? To thinking that Silabus is going to get along with it. And he's like, dude, no, I'm not. I don't want to be part of this. This is enough. Getting slapped didn't stop him. It's like getting slapped, it hit him, but that's fine. Then the arcade thing. Then in another scene, he'll just go, she got you. Oh, shit. So this guy is internally consistent in his stupidity for being just a complete asshole to anybody. And I believe, in a way, what they're trying to tell you is he needs some sort of, like, super fucking... just absolute truth happen to him. And sometimes I can understand that. Like, an absolute truth, you need to see it with your own eyes, or something has to happen to you, or... he just can't take a person's word for it. Like, you can't accept that, hey, Yata owns or is able to administrate everything. He has this knowledge. You know, he begrudgingly accepts it all. Because, well, this guy is now part of my goal. So I suppose now I'll listen to him. But he's still like, I'll use my avatar however I like. However, he's already seen it with Pi. You would think by now he would understand what an avatar does. But he goes back on his word. So now he's gonna deal with Kun and deal with the fact that, oh no, I'm a little out of my depth here. But he does not care. So it is internal consistency, but it's also going against the simple fact that he's seen what he needs to see already, that you don't really need to go this far. So it's rough sometimes, but that is part of the story. Haseo has been through all of this crap. Here goes. And is still trying to understand how to deal with people. But I will still take Haseo's story and over, say, the people who don't do anything. Who just exist as the boilerplate, I'm a guy who has nothing going on. You've seen this in RPGs everywhere. I have no redeeming qualities. Oh no, I have a superpower, whatever shall I do? It's like, is that really all that interesting? At least with Haseo, you know that he could have been somebody normal. He could have been a nobody, but instead was turned into the terror of death. So his angst isn't coming from a place of undue course, it's just he does not stop. So it's a balancing act of how long do you hold out before he just finally grows the fuck up. But that's what the story is telling you, is like, he's going to grow up eventually. Pi, to an extent, is at least on his short list of people that he's willing to at least admit, hey, okay, shit happened. I understand her side of things now, and I'm less of an annoying asshole to her. But that is one of a big bunch of people. So now he's still going to deal with Atoli, or deal with Ovon, or deal with all these people, and be like, stop being such a dick. Because unless, even with like someone like Zelkova, where it is kind of like creepy that it's like so nice for his own good, like, why are you being so nice to me? You know, obviously there's something with Zelkova later, but, you know, because they're building to that. But by and large, it is still, like, even now, you're kind of like, are you done being a complete asshole? So that's just another hurdle that he has to deal with while dealing with Alcade, dealing with Kun, dealing with other people. It's going to be, can he compartmentalize just everything being for him and him alone? Versus, okay, I can still be my annoying, bitchy self, but maybe be a little less of it?
Here it comes.
Just a thought. And again, I know everything that's happening in the story, so I'm doing this as a theoretical.
Shadow Blast.
There we go.
Well, that's that, I guess.
Level 40. Okay, so everybody's level 40. That should be good enough. What's this? Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so let's take that off. Okay. 41 might be good enough. Alright, fought everybody that was here. I wonder if I should level up again. It's an idea. Because I still have this armor that I can give them. Ooh. What's this? Your cursed thing. Okay, I'm gonna save. You know, I'm gonna do one more area, just in case. Ooh. Okay, I guess. Yeah, let's do 45. Okay. But yeah, level 50 is a little high. Huh? Okay. Let's see. So we talked about that. Let's see, what else? Whoops. Yeah, I need to break the armor. Okay.
Ogre sword.
Trying to think. So we talked about Haseo. I would say next, I want to talk about the way in which this game balances, not mechanically, but just balances being around people. And I know I haven't been doing any of the side questing, and kind of thank God I don't have to do that, because the side quests only do so much. I'm not worried about power stats and all that junk, because I'm not going to do any. It's balancing whether certain characters are around or not. Because, much like, say, Persona has their whole social link system where I'm only available on certain days of the week because I got work, or I got a job, or I got whatever, I'd say the game does a pretty good job of not giving you everyone. I mean, sure, there are some people you would probably use everywhere. Maybe not Atoli, but even Atoli is not always available, not always around. But by and large, certain people are around at certain times, and I think I respect the way they do that. Because they didn't have to do that. They could have said, okay, just like every other game, you could be, what party do you want to use? By and large, are there any mechanical differences between one character's, you know, say for instance, because we don't have, let's just say, Antares. Because I know later on in the game he will be a party member. Like, Antares and Silabus are both Blade Randiers. You know, I wanted to use people who are less involved in the plot. Mechanically, they're the same. The only real difference is their personality and some of the things they say, and how some of how their combos work or their link bonuses work. But it's a move and feel kind of vibe. The game doesn't mechanically change who is what person. Like, the difference between, say, an Antares and a Silabus or whomever else is not all that much. Their stats might be different. Maybe Antares might be a little stronger, or Silabus might be a little faster. They're negligible. Mechanically, they're the same person. So I'm guessing, in a way, they're there to say, okay, if Silabus is not available, Antares might be. So you got a Blade Randier, because if you like the sword and board or the standard simple swordman, there you go. You've got a swordsman. Okay, cool. What if I don't want a swordsman? I've said as much. I want the faster attacking characters like a Pi or whatnot. Well, I don't think the game does a good enough job giving enough characters different versions. And yeah, that's a mechanical difference. But
That was nothing.
it's also like, I wish there was a difference. Or at least enough of one that I could see it. I wish there was enough of a mechanical difference in the characters themselves so that would also feel... That's kind of the same way, Oh, I'm gonna get closed off. Fun. Because I suppose that's the balancing act you have to throw out, because you're giving non-player character or non-epitaph user characters and epitaph user characters in-game reasons for being there. Because Silabus and Gaspard are friends, I suppose. I put Gaspard and friends in quotes just because, yeah, technically they are, but would you ever see me using Gaspard if I had to? I mean, I wouldn't. And I've said as much. Whether Gaspard was good or not, I don't think I would reuse him anyway, because I just don't like I don't like his personality. I don't like those kinds of characters. I just don't. Even if saying from before, there is a story to tell. Well, yeah, but you drive me nuts. I don't want to be around you. So, as a character, you're mechanically useless. Or, as a character in battle, you're mechanically useless. And as a character, I don't like you. So obviously, I'm less inclined to like that person as a character.
We did it!
It says a lot, doesn't it? But, but it also stands to reason, and it's like, sometimes you need a break. And sometimes you want to use, say, Final Fantasy VII, for instance. Sometimes I don't want to use Aerith in this playthrough. Sometimes I don't want to use Tifa in this playthrough. Maybe I want to use Yuffie or Kate Sith, or Kate Sheep, because for some reason they decided to use Kate Sith as the pronunciation in Rebirth. That's wrong! But anyway, it's Kate Sheep, by the way. But, you know, maybe I want to try Kate Sheep. Or, you know, because I know how he works, and I'm like, maybe for balancing reasons, it could be different. It could be a change of pace, you know. Even if I don't like them as a character compared to, say, Vincent or whatever. You know, sometimes you just want a different playthrough and a different thing. This game, at least, gives you, eventually, I would say, 15 to 20 options that you can sit there and go, okay, I can use them all. So how do you balance out those 15 characters so that, you know, as we've seen, Gaspard's not online all the time. By and large, you know, these three characters, Atoli, Gaspard, and Silabus, will always be online. Kun and Pi, not always online because they're doing GU things, or Kun is going on a fucking date with a girl, or Pi's working for Yata, or something like that. So, you can justify in-game, in your head, it's like, okay, Pi's not available right now, despite every evidence to the contrary that I personally would use her every chance I get. Because I've said as much, the faster characters are my preferred in this sort of game. But I appreciate that sense that I can choose. Oh man. I appreciate the ability to see that they're giving options. So that if you don't want to have Atoli Silabus in every single fucking party, whether that's good for you for the arena purposes or not, they'll all level up. That's the other benefit, is you can take whoever you want, and then the others will be slightly leveled underneath, but they won't be so far beyond you that you won't use them ever again. Because that's the worst. That is the absolute dirt worst. The only instance where I'd say that would be a good option would be Final Fantasy VI, how their leveling mechanics work with Espers, where you get a buff if you use them in battle, and you use the specific Esper, you get that stat boost. Other than that, you want characters leveling up at the same rate as everybody else, or at least, you know, 75%. And this game does that. This game is expecting you to not use every single person. And I have said that I will not use Atoli. I could probably heal well enough on my own. If she's not available, it's still better to have her as a party member than not.
I remember this.
There is no point, game-wise, using one character. It is disadvantageous. And I think you saw this in the arcade fight, what just one extra character, what two twin blades can do. You know? But see how much energy I'm wasting on sprite drops on a healer. It doesn't always add up to being the best thing. You know, which is unfortunate because I get that the healer is useful, but is she so useful that it's worth that, I wonder? I don't know for sure. Sorry, every episode is every time I hear that, I'm still gonna do it. Ow, you suck. But it's a cool idea in theory because after all, this is a game trying to be a fake MMO. And there are times when people just can't meet up, or they have this thing like, can we meet up here? Can we do this thing there? You have to deal with people in that wavelength and say, okay. And I'm an aggressive pre-planner sometimes. I'm one of those people. It's like I'll think in my head as soon as I wake up, what am I doing? Or even before I'm going to bed, what am I doing? As soon as I learn a thing, as soon as I learn my schedule, I am thinking out loud or thinking in my head, what am I doing? How am I doing it? What am I gonna do? Let's go. Not everybody has to do that way. But in an online setting, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that you'd want to be a pre-planner, or if you're in the sense of Atoli, unless you have to go to school or something, or have to deal with Moontree or something, or do the arena, she doesn't scream to me as an aggressive pre-planner.
Let's get going.
She screams to me as a person that just kind of does what she's gonna do, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be, come hell or high water. And I should help. I should help. Okay, this is not working out great. Damn. There we go. Got rid of some of them. Fucking what an asshole. This might take a while. Okay, you can stop now. You suck. Well, at least I'm gonna get levels for this. Okay, good. I'm finally starting to... There we go. That was a little rough. There we go.
Let's do our best.
Well, Tartan brocade. Okay. Well, sucks to be you. But yes, both mechanically and personally, because of the fact that you can let people level up at the rate that you want,
That was nothing.
you can always be able to change your character and do what you want. Because you might be, you might just like the heavier classes. You might like using Haseo as a heavy arms class, even though personally I don't. I like using him with the quick weapons. It's because mechanically it seems, for this game, good. For other games like, say, Ast Libra, which are action games, I think hitting action economy, doing more damage with bigger weapons actually is a benefit. Because I found trying to use the smaller weapons didn't pan out, or I needed to level up more. That was something I learned. And I don't usually micromanage games too much. Once you find a method that works for you, it's easy to stick with that sort of thing. Which is why I don't experiment all that much unless I'm trying to challenge myself in a playthrough. Tri-strike. Okay. Get out the door! Where'd I go? There. There was the fucking door. Anyway. Okay, so go down and then go. Alright, cool. But I do think it's a nice touch that this game does have a little bit of both. There's a time where you have to be forced a certain party member for the story to work, or because the game is telling you, hey, this is a story arc we're focusing heavily on, so we prefer that a character be your party member. Without, outwardly forcing you down a path. But then there are also times where they say, okay, go nuts. A situation like this where Atoli and Silabus are locked in, I mean, that's beneficial because they're going to be the arena. I'm going to be doing this to level up them so that they're not weak going into the encounter, because mostly it's Haseo. If Haseo is high enough levels, you could probably handle anything.
Well, that's that, I guess.
But this is future-proofing me for most of the story beats, which is good. So even if this episode does run long, it has its uses, it has its benefits. And especially since there are only times like this where I can kind of dig into the story beats more, because the story does go at its merry way.
Well, you can really run, can't you, little...
Wow, that was quick. A dowsing rod. What's that? Dowsing rod. Ooh, drop it. Okay. Not bad. I think I'll take that. And then if I can get... I don't need gold per se, but... I'd like to. I'm getting close to the 3rd floor at least. But I mean, there's also the mechanic of how do you level up in a game like this? Well, they have the level scaling thing where you just... The level ups are such a big thing that they make it so that you gain... I think one of the posters said that they built in an experience booster in this version as opposed to the original because it was kind of hard to level up. But you can see why I'm trying to level up in higher level areas, because I'm not struggling so hard in these areas that I'm dying. But if I tried it at any other levels than maybe 4 to 5 levels higher, then I would be. There's not really much point in trying to level in an area at your level. But I'm also saving time having to level up in an area that I'm unprepared for. Good. So now we can get in that. Because I don't think equipment does all that much. I think it is tied to levels. As you can see, I'm already taking less damage and doing more damage to those goblins than I was earlier. Oh yeah, I gotta do it. Goblins. Sorry, it's a thing I gotta do now. Goblins. I want more Goblin Slayer. It was fun having it back, but anyway.
Here it comes.
But yeah, I'm already doing more damage to these guys than I was before. And that's with what? Just 2 to 3 extra levels in there? I'm still gonna take damage, but I'm also taking less of it. And I'm giving out more of it. So you're never out of a fight unless you're really, really trying to be out of a fight. There's just no mechanical advantage to fighting too low or too high in an enemy. And I think the game does a decent job of saying, okay, you need to level up a certain amount. That's what the arena battles do in a way, because there's not much in the way of boss fights in this game. That's what the avatar battles tend to be. Traditional boss battles are mostly just the stuff in the fight the field stuff, and do the whatever, you know. The avatar battles are tied to the levels that you are at in-game, so that's kind of your mode. The arena kind of takes over for traditional boss fights in this sort of setting. But that's what I like, and that's what I like about, say, the new Yakuza game, is they kind of tell you what level they would prefer or recommend. Not saying it has to be that way, but I like that by and large, for a certain difficulty level, in say Soul Hackers 2 or this, like if you were at or slightly below a level of a certain enemy, you're probably okay. Because where I am right now, level 45, I'm probably good until the remainder of the game, which admittedly is not much. We've got the Coon fight, we've got the Endurance fight, and then we've probably got one more main fight after that. I can't think of anything else other than that stuff. So I'm where I'm gonna need to be. So doing these dungeons every once in a while is not a terrible thing. Even if, admittedly, I'm running very long in this episode because I've done 2 dungeons in a row. But you can see where this is gonna save me having to do that in between, you know, because the idea, by and large, is do a story thing, do a dungeon grind, do a story thing, do a dungeon grind. And rather than doing this off camera all the time, I'm doing it in the span of an episode that I'm already doing. Because that's part of helping for the YouTube situation anyway, because I'm going to need 7 episodes a week, give or take. You know, so this takes care of one of them. But these also add as that filter of saying, okay, well, if I'm focusing on the story beats and letting the story play out, I don't have time to kind of dig into these on a more macro level because the way the gameplay loop kind of works. The game expects you to go through the story bits and even, I would say, the quests. I've not done those. I've replaced those with these instead. Because those quests, there is going to be an instance where I'm going to do a quest at some point. But in the second game, or maybe in the third game. First game? Nah. Go. Alright, God, level 46. Alright, and you have to remember, I was like level 38 before I started doing this. Now I'm level 46. So something's definitely working. Ending! Yum! No! Right. Here we go, let's kill him, let's go! Oh, I almost killed him. I pretty much did kill them, wow. That worked. Sweet. Now Atoli's level 46. I love Sprite Rain. But little things like having 999 Chimspheres instead of 99 is helping. Having the characters do all the running around and hitting the chims instead of me. Just little bits and things that the game learned as it went through trial and error, and then added to this new version a decade later. These cool things that I think the game does right, despite it having issues of doing things wrong every once in a while. Because no game is perfect. Like, I love me Persona 3 through 5, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. If it were me, every game would be Persona. Which is why I'm really hopeful that Metaphor Free Fantasia is going to be good. But maybe the Persona in a fantasy setting doesn't work. We don't know that yet. Though there's no reason to suspect that that's not the case, that it's not going to work. But I mean, there are many different games for many different types of people. Like, I'm not an Animal Crossing guy. People love Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, you want that, or you like Pokemon, or whatever, you know. But it's, what does the game do well, and how does it work for me? Because I'm not really I'm not an action RPG guy in most cases. Like, Tales, Ys, they're good, or Ys, they're good, but I like the turn-based, personally, because that's what I grew up with. But this game does it well enough where it streamlines the process to being pretty simple. It's not meant to try and fuck you over and screw you up, I don't think. It's pretty simple how it wants you to fight and how it wants you to process and doing damage, and there's not a lot of strategy involved outside of who you pick your party and what your party makeup is going to be. If you're at a certain enough level, you can pretty much handle what you're going to handle with normal attacks. But the strategy comes in, what status effects would you use, if any? What do you guard against? What do you fight against? What levels of enemies are you fighting against? Well,
That was nothing.
as you see now, I'm really kicking the shit out of things that were hurting me just earlier this episode. You know, some games are strategic in how they deal with the action RPG stuff. Some just go straight balls to the wall. So it really depends what you're looking for.
Wind moons! Wind moons! Wind moons!
Here we go.
Have you learned your lesson?
47? Seriously? Even I'm sitting here thinking I'm kind of shocked I leveled up this much. I almost gained 10 levels in one episode. Even for me, that's not what I was expecting. Then again, I wasn't expecting a 50, 55, maybe an hour-long episode either, so yeah. But it's good to get them done when they're done, I think. Uh-oh. I'm fucking... Oh, they're gone. Bye. But yeah, there we go. Everything is proceeding smoothly, and I think until the end of the game, I'm at the level I need to be. So hey, hope you guys enjoyed the supercharged, super long episode. Curse. Let's curse. Oh, I should be equipping. Well, if she bonks anybody with that weapon, she can curse them, I guess. Okay. Okay. Wow, there we go. Nice. Did what I needed to do. Alright, but yeah. I've been going for almost an hour. Was not expecting to go that long, but as you can see, I think now I'm pretty much good for the remainder of the game. So, yeah. Next time you see me, I'll be facing Coon and probably kicking the ever-loving shit out of him. So, yeah, that worked out to my advantage, I'd say. See you then.